Communication is a two-way process. There is your audience and the person speaking. And you like to hope that actually any conversation is two-way. And that means to say that there is somebody listening, and hopefully you are going to be both listening at different times. When we are listening, we are giving the other person or the people speaking your time. You are showing respect for them. You are valuing their opinion, and you're showing great value because your time is being spent listening to them. In the real world, when we have meetings and conversations, yes, we have one or two conversations now where we meet up with people in socially distant situations. But on the whole, business meetings are not happening face to face. But if we remember back to those days, we would be able to see non-verbal cues. We would be able to see people perhaps leaning in to show that they were interested. They would nod, they would grunt, they would make noises, they would their body language would match ours to show that they were interested and engaged, eye contact, all of those sorts of things that actually we all learn to do. The difference is when you are communicating virtually is that we have to overemphasize some of these things in order to show that we are listening, that we are valuing other people. And it's those things that I'd like to talk about today. I keep going on about switching on your video. I know I'm going to say it again, but switching on your video does mean to say the other person can see your face, but also you can demonstrate that you are listening even if you're on mute, because there are meetings where we can only have a couple of people speaking, otherwise it's just complete noise. So by having your video switched on, actually looking at the screen, not looking down and doing your work while you're doing it, smiling, nodding, those sorts of things can demonstrate that you are still listening. Contributing through the chat or making sure that you let the facilitator know that you're wanting to contribute to the conversation is really, really important too. So I want you to think about how you can build up that two-way rapport. If you are the listener, how you can emphasize the fact that you really are listening. And if you are the speaker, making sure that you acknowledge that the other person is listening and might want to contribute to the conversation. Now, only last week, I was in a virtual meeting with someone else, and whenever I tried to push into the conversation, they said, "I hear you," and then carried on ploughing on as though it was a one-way lecture. In no way did I feel that I was contributing to the conversation and didn't feel valued at all. Think what that's like if you are the listener. Think what that's like if that person is a client or a potential client or a colleague of yours and you're not giving them the opportunity and the space to contribute to the conversation. So remember, listening is a proactive thing. You've got to make sure that you're showing the other person that you're listening. And if you are the speaker, give the opportunity for somebody else to contribute to the conversation. That builds rapport, that builds engagement, that builds trust virtually. Thank you very much for listening.